Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the Flow Show, no filter. Back with another crazy ass episode. How is everybody feeling? Roll call. Let's see who we got in here today. Elise, good morning. Desi, good morning. Denise, good morning. RX, good morning. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I know y'all had to see what Anita. What's up, Anita? Grand Rising. Come on in. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Good morning, Enoch. Morning, Sweet Two. This Diddy story just get crazier and crazier. We're going to let people come on in before we get started. Lucida, what's up? I see you. Diddy is never going to stop. Never, ever, ever, never. But the updates we have now are getting more and more insane. Desi says it's amazing how. Oh, here we go with the video again. Uh, everybody is connected. This industry is just a web of deceit and lies. So, oh man, is my phone charging? Guess the phone is fine. Let's get started, y'all. Y'all should know that yesterday. Oh yeah, Dave. Hey, look, we got to give Kathy her flowers. She said, "Good early morning." What did I say? David about to get arrested for the murder of the young girl, along with his side kick. Finally, yeah, we gonna get into the David a little bit later. Grandma Kathy. Lauren said, "I'm still sitting in shock from the 50 Cent documentary. I don't need another one." Man, so before we get into the David stuff, we got to cover this Diddy stuff. So y'all know Diddy came out with a new documentary. Diddy got a new documentary coming out that he's dropping himself with his sons, and we're gonna talk about how that's gonna backfire. Yeah, it's not just the entertainment industry at all. It's so many people involved. We can't name them all. But let's check out the Zeus, this the what's going on with this Zeus Diddy documentary. and at the connection with him and the CEO. So it says here, Yahoo Entertainment, Diddy's sons to speak about his trial and upcoming Zeus Network docu-series. Diddy's sons, Justin Combs and Christian Kings Combs, are opening up about their father's trial, sentencing, and the media attention surrounding the case in an upcoming docu-series on the Zeus Network. And in a minute, we're gonna go into the connection of the Zeus, the CEO of Zeus, and Diddy. There is a crazy connection, and he might have just pulled himself into the same fire that Diddy in. So let's talk about the documentary first, and we're gonna get into the connections. Diddy's sons are opening up about his father's trial, sentencing, and the media attention surrounding the case. A trailer teasing the untitled series dropped Sunday. It shows Justin and Christian seated in a home theater as they watch coverage from Diddy's arrest and trial while headlines of new articles flash across the screen. Morning, C-Tuck. The two then receive a phone call from Diddy before the clip cuts to a title card announcing the docuseries will be released in 2026. To be clear, the documentary is about giving Justin and Christian the opportunity to share their personal story. Zeus Network CEO Lemuel Plummer, who we will talk about in a minute, his shady ass. I'm calling him the Timu Diddy Jr. If you don't know about Lemuel Plummer, you will know a little bit more about him after this episode is over. Lemuel wrote in the comments, we're not here to endorse Diddy or anyone else. As a network, we believe in giving individuals a platform to tell their own experiences, just like any network that enters the documentary space. We're simply allowing these stories to be told, and that's the essence of what we're doing here. He continued, thanks for understanding and for letting us bring these narratives to light. The announcement has already drawn a response from 50 Cent, who executive produced the Netflix documentary Sean Combs, The Reckoning, which is about Diddy's downfall. Even 50 said, wow, I want to see that show, but I'm not sure it was a good idea, he wrote on Instagram. News comes days after Justin reportedly caught up with his dad during a Christmas visit. We went over that Christmas visit. That Christmas visit with Justin and his dad was all about making some damn money and bringing some money into the family, because as you know, Diddy's income has dried up as far as money coming in, and as of the last year and a half, almost 2 years, it's been nothing but money going out. No matter how much money you have, when you have a large overhead of bill close to $10 million a month, you add that up over damn near 2 years, you're talking about 240 million overhead, $40 million, and you're not bringing in no money except for some renting a private jet. That ain't covering no $10 million overhead. Diddy, of course, is currently serving a 50-month sentence after being found guilty of 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. He is appealing the conviction and seeking either an immediate release or a lighter sentence. Now, let's talk about Lemuel Plummer. He had to. He didn't have a choice but to drop this documentary because he is caught up in this Diddy web. Lemuel Plummer looks like he wants to be Diddy, acts like Diddy, and he has his own allegations with women. And what they're saying, word on the street, is that he supplied a lot of girls for Diddy through that baddie connection. If you watch the show Baddies, that's on Zeus. That's something he brought to the table. And he allegedly was supplying Diddy with girls, and not only that, he actually was funded by Diddy. Diddy is alleged to be a silent partner in Zeus. They've been throwing different numbers around, but the number I've seen more than others is $250,000 that Diddy contributed to Zeus. I don't know if that's the number or even if he actually is a silent partner, but that is what I'm hearing um, through my sources. Also, Lemuel Plummer has been at many of the freak offs, many of the freak off parties. Enoch says she read that. Many of the freak off parties. Um, and he has posted Diddy on his Instagram page numerous times. And they are all, Sunflower Best says, they are all disgusting. I feel you. They definitely are. So Lemuel, like I said, I'm calling him the Timu Diddy. And I believe he didn't have a choice but to put out this documentary because I believe Diddy has skeletons on him. He knows where the bodies are buried. So there's a lot of shadiness behind this documentary. 50 Cent said he don't think it's a good idea. I definitely think the whole concept is going to backfire. The public is not trying to feel sorry for Diddy. I don't think anybody in this chat or on this live or listening to this podcast on Apple and Spotify, I don't think any of you all have any sympathy for Diddy or his sons. You know, his sons are 30 years old. They're not 10 years old anymore. They understand accountability and consequences. They even have their own alleged stories where they are being alleged to have done some things. So I think it's going to be a big backfire. Also, let me tell you what else I believe. I believe Diddy, I believe 50 Cent, knowing how he markets his music and knowing how he is a marketing genius anyway, I'm sure this documentary, unless they bring it out too fast where 50 Cent doesn't have time, but if 50 Cent has enough time, he will definitely be trying to drop a part 2 right around the same time that this documentary that is supposed to make us all feel sorry for Diddy. 50 will drop it either on the same day or shortly thereafter. Now, like I said, now that's only if 50 Cent has time. If they drop this documentary like in the next few days or, pretty quickly, they may be able to drop it without 50 Cent doing it. Let me take a question on this because people got a lot of questions about this documentary. Was this the documentary that Diddy was originally trying to make by filming himself? I'm hearing no, because pretty much all of that footage that he had for that has been, either is in 50 Cent's hands or just not in his hands and not in Diddy's hands. So I'm thinking this is some documentary they put together because they have the son sitting in the theater room watching all the headlines. I'm sure, just from me guessing, that they didn't have that planned out and they weren't in the theater room watching coverage of their dad's trial. So I'm thinking it's something they put together after the fact, but I could be wrong. But that's my guess. Grand Rising Storm. But people have been coming out and telling so many stories about Lemuel. Actually, his name is Lemuel Plummer. Definitely a Definitely a crazy situation. Oh yeah, 50 Cent definitely has a part 2 and 3 already ready to go. And I can't wait. Um it's been Diddy's trying his best to control the narrative, as most of the elites, most of the big time people with money and that people that run this country, we all know one thing they always try to do is control the narrative. Um, and by controlling the narrative, they control the people, at least in their eyes. Good morning, Fire Glory. I don't know what a doc that what Diddy is putting out. Sunflower is on Zeus. I'm not sure when it's dropping. Probably in the next week or so. I heard rumors of this weekend, and I've heard within the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. But you will definitely hear about it when it drops. But as with this country and our government, they try to control us by controlling the narrative. That is what Diddy is doing right now. He's trying to control the narrative. But it's a little too late for that. Uh, it was too late even after the trial, after everybody witnessed all the nefarious things that Diddy did. And then next thing we know, uh 50 Cent comes with a documentary, and whatever was left of uh Diddy's brand was definitely took a hit, and Diddy's brand definitely was pretty much squashed and destroyed after that documentary. Not only did the documentary expose more stuff that he getting, more problems and more details to the allegations that nobody knew, but also the documentary kind of revealed to the public who didn't know much about Diddy that it had people questioning, like, what actually is this guy's talent for real? It almost seems like the way the documentary spelled it out is his talent is really taking advantage of people. He's a producer that doesn't make beats. He's a rapper that doesn't write his own raps. He's a producer that doesn't play instruments. He just finagled his way into a powerful position, and by being gutless and heartless, took advantage of innocent people. And that's kind of the vibe that everyone got from the documentary. Just a bunch of people. Biggie wrote his own rap, of course. Mace wrote his own raps. Biggie wrote Lil Kim's raps. Everything was done by everyone else. They had beat people, that producers that actually made beats, that actually made that actually played instruments and made beats, and just took full advantage of them. An example of that is Little Rod. We all know Little Rod has a lawsuit. Not only does he have a lawsuit talking about all the essaying and assault that took place, but now I haven't heard Eminem's new diss track, but not I might have to check it out. But no, not only that, but Little Rob was also a producer who didn't get paid, who worked and worked and worked on Diddy's project, and someone who actually could play instruments, someone who actually could make beats on their own. But again, Diddy, the producer who doesn't know how to make beats, doesn't know how to play instruments, doesn't know anything about notes, was promised money and never paid. A theme throughout Diddy's thing. I mean, even the documentary is rumored that 50 Cent got the footage because Diddy didn't pay the videographer. Just bullshit. Just nothing but bullshit. Every time you look around, Diddy not paying somebody because he don't value anybody. He doesn't value what they do. And it's just a reoccurring thing. Let's see if we got anything in the chat. Right. Enoch says, I can't wait for the discoveries to be over with and him been charged quickly on top of what he's got. Yeah. Mark Curry spoke on this, Enoch, that when Mark Curry, if you know, Mark Curry was the one in the documentary who explained that Diddy had no musical talent for real. Diddy couldn't rap. Diddy wasn't even good at repeating raps that were wrote for him. But Mark Curry was a rapper who was with Bad Boy back in the day. I would say like early 2000s, and he was on that song. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped, y'all, because it's Bad Boy for life. And Mark Curry is another one who's wrote raps, was an artist, Diddy's artist, didn't get paid. Basically got played. Diddy didn't pay people, he just played people, according to Mark Curry and a host of other artists. But if you remember, Mark Curry already wrote a book. Mark Curry doesn't get his flowers for bringing a lot of the bullshit to the surface with Diddy, because Mark Curry, I think it was like 10 years ago, when Mark Curry first brought this to the forefront. If it's not 10 years, it's damn near 10 years. Mark Curry put out a book called Dancing with the Devil. And just real quick, Lucita, no, he can't read musical notes and he can't play an instrument. He don't have any producing or beat making talent, and that's just honestly. But Mark Curry recently came out and spoke on some news outlets and spoke on the fact that he believes that Diddy is just sitting in prison and they hold him there as they come with new charges, new indictments. And with him behind bars, they don't have to worry about, a lot of witness tampering and obstructing justice and a lot of things they definitely have to worry about before he was in actual prison. Ridiculous. But Mark Curry has a lot of insight. And like I said, even he's saying he believes they just hold him as they drum up more charges, more indictments soon to come, and they're going to be just giving Diddy more time and more time and more cases. That's according to Mark Curry. But Mark Curry was the one who first exposed that Diddy would slip stuff into women's drinks, spike their drinks or whatever. He told a story where Diddy would say, tell the crew, don't drink these bottles because these bottles are laced. These bottles are for the girls. He had the crew and the guys drink out of other bottles. Just a trifling situation. So Mark Curry exposed all that. And like I said, he's the one saying, he also said that Kim Porter, that Diddy broke Kim Porter's nose. He was one of the first people to expose all of this. One of the first people to expose all this. And speaking of Kim Porter, I'm looking forward to Al B. Shore speaking with him and getting some more insight on what's actually going on with Kim Porter. If you remember, Kim Porter is Diddy's baby mama, baby's children's mother, who passed mysteriously from pneumonia. She was perfectly healthy, but she was writing a tell-all book, and next thing you know, uh, she's gone. And this is Al B. Shore's son, mother. Al B. Shore's son is Quincy, although Quincy claims Diddy as his dad, but everybody knows, and it's well known, that Quincy is Al B. Shore's son. Now, the crazy thing about that is Al B. Shore nearly died, was on his deathbed. All his organs were shut down. Him and Diddy, it was well known. Diddy was insecure, didn't like Al B. Shore because Al B. Shore was Kim's first, first love, or first, had their first child with Al B. Shore. Diddy already manipulated and took over his son. So it makes a lot of people believe, and it's hard not to believe, that the mysterious illness that Al B. Shore came up with out of nowhere could be traced back to Diddy, allegedly. I mean, Al B. Shore was in a coma. Like I said, vital organs were shut down, and he was a perfect healthy person. So Kim dies of pneumonia. Al B. Shore nearly dies of a similar mysterious pneumonia. And it just ain't that many coincidences in the world. So I'm looking forward to speaking to Al B. Shore and getting more insight. And that's just what it is. Lucida says, greatest talent Diddy seems to have was being a great joker from the deck of cards, having the ability to pull the wool over eyes and use mystical talents to be controlling. He outsmarted himself. Good, great statement, Lucida. Enoch says, yes, 2026 is the year all these wicked, evil, rich people are going to face justice in the name of Jesus. Put that out there, Enoch. Put that out there, Enoch. Desi, I don't know why it looked like you got your name changed. Unless that's always been your name. I'm looking at your profile pic and it looks different than the name I'm used to seeing. Let me know if I'm just tripping or what. Oh yeah, most of us are in our 40s and remember how far back his monstrous ways go. But it's getting more and more exposed, and it's crazy. But like I said, this documentary is a bad idea. Bad idea. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, don't worry about it. But I noticed. I'm like, I know that picture, and I know the name that normally goes to the side of that picture, and it didn't look right. But it's okay, Desi. I just making sure I wasn't tripping. Um, so keep your eyes and ears peeled. We will, the minute I find out when the documentary is coming out, just for your knowledge, I will let you know. Of course, not many people, especially people who represent for the victims, not many people are going to support the documentary. I think they said Zeus wants $6.99. Thank you. Oh, great. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, the documentary is a piece that, yeah, we about to fire Glory. We are definitely about to get into that. I'm about we getting that at the 30-minute mark, which we are at now. Everybody keeps asking. Everybody keeps asking, Flo, did you hear the news? Grandma Kathy gave you an idea of it. Real quick, before we get into the David, looks like he's going to be indicted for the unaliving of Celeste Rivas. But breaking news, C. Tuck has the studio session booked for Sunday to do the intro for the Flow Show No Filter podcast. So everybody give it up for C. Tuck, the official co-host of the show. And now he's working on the intro. He said studio session is booked for Sunday. I'm looking forward to hearing the intro. I'm sure you guys are going to love the intro. And shout out to C Tuck. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I can't wait to hear it. I know it's going to be awesome. C Tuck, C Tuck, C Tuck, C Tuck, C Tuck. Everybody give it up for C Tuck. Okay. But this is for Grandma Kathy. This is for Grandma Kathy. She been on this even while we've been on Diddy and this and that. Grandma Kathy has pretty much brought up the David case every day. Yeah, she may have missed a day or two here or there, but for the most part, Grandma Kathy has been on David's ass. And now he is finally being held accountable. Let's use Yahoo News again. Hey, why not? David expected to face murder charges in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas report. Singer David is expected to be indicted and face murder charges in the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. Sources familiar with the matter told TMZ. Details on David's indictment and when Rivas' body was found. According to the outlet, there have been 2 different grand juries assigned to the case. The most recent group will likely deliver an indictment against David. Authorities, including prosecutor Beth Silverman, believe the 20-year-old singer is responsible for the teen's death. Before I go on, you know one thing about this David situation. I kind of believe if that private investigator and the owner of that home didn't get involved, I don't think David would be getting indicted. Enoch says that she heard his father worked for Epstein, who is his lawyer. Worked for Epstein, who worked for Epstein, and he's a lawyer. He heard his father worked for Epstein, and he's a lawyer. So I couldn't. She said he's a lawyer, so it kind of threw me off. But that's what Enoch said. I can't confirm that, but you can look that up and verify. That's what they're saying in the chat. They really tried it, and like there's somebody saying in the chat, they really tried to slide this under the rug, bury it, keep it away from us. But this doesn't make any sense how they did it. But it does make sense that if he was a lawyer and worked for Epstein, definitely would make sense how he had connections to keep this at bay and keep these accusations. But now I'm hearing that they wanted to tell him. Let's continue in this article. As Blavity reported, Rivas' body was found. Rivas' body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to David, born David Anthony Burke, after it was reportedly abandoned in the Hollywood Hills before being transferred to a local tow yard in September. The vehicle was impounded on the lot for several days, leading employees to report a foul odor emanating from it. When police arrived, They discovered the teen's remains inside a plastic bag stuffed in front of the Tesla. Now, somebody said they want to know what really happened and what made her be unalived. Let me just tell you some of the rumors circulating. We'll find more probably once this indictment drops down and we get more details. But they were speculating that she was going to tell because there was a little crazy love triangle going on with David and his right hand man and her, and then David and his right hand man, who he allegedly was in a relationship with or whatever, they decided to carry out this dastardly, trifling, horrific deed. Another rumor was that she was pregnant, but I believe when they examined the body or whatever, I think they said they weren't able to find any evidence of pregnancy. So that you could throw that one out of the window. But it could have been a love triangle, could have been an argument. You know, when you sick enough to just be a pervert and a pedophile, and you sick enough to be singing all these songs about killing and blood and all of that, then a simple argument, and you're already doing something wrong, a simple argument can turn into a person being unalive, an innocent person. This don't make no sense. Like Grandma Kathy said, any which way you look at it, it is just wrong, horrific. Praying for this one. Yeah, Grandma Kathy, I'd say you've been on it every day. You haven't let down on this story. Yep, he also did have incinerating equipment, which was not used. So obviously he had morbid plans, which didn't get done. Yeah, somebody dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball, and I believe this is supposed to get done once he went on tour. I believe this was supposed to get done once he went on tour. And somebody backed out. And that's how the Tesla got stuck. And eventually towed to an impound lot and all of that. I definitely believe someone was supposed to do something and say, you know what, I think they backed out. At least says it takes a real twisted mind to cut someone up, then go on like nothing happened. So true. So true. Be able to do that to people and carry on. David was still singing. If you remember, David was still performing. Up until they actually had to find the body in the Tesla and all of that. But up until that point, he was still performing. Like nothing ever happened. And like I said, he has some type of connections to be able to be out for this long. Anybody else, me or you, would have been locked up and questioned and charged and held with no bond. But for some reason, David must have connections because he's able to just be free, frolicking around. So let's continue on the story. The vehicle was impounded on the lot for several days, leading employees to report a foul odor emanating from it. When police arrived, they discovered the teen's remains inside a plastic bag stuffed in the front of the Tesla. Now, David was reportedly not cooperative with authorities, according to sources. Now, I mean, we already knew that he was behind this shit. I don't know if there was anybody in the Flow community that thought any differently, but he really told on himself when he was uncooperative. The Los Angeles Police Department later issued a search warrant for Burke's rental home in the Hollywood Hills where he lived. During the raid, investigators seized computers and other electronic devices for forensic analysis. At the time, the Queens native was reportedly was reportedly cooperative with authorities. However, sources later confirmed that he hasn't been cooperative with authorities at all. He also canceled all his U.S. tour dates as well as several European dates as the investigation continued. Rivas of Lake Elsinore, California, initially had 2 runaway attempts after meeting Burke and establishing a relationship. The second attempt, she had been reported missing since May 2024. What did Davis' tour manager say during grand jury testimony? In November, an investigative grand jury helped authorities gather evidence, but it was not responsible for delivering indictments. The group can also help issue subpoenas and compel uncooperative witnesses to testify, according to TMZ. Earlier this month, Davis' day-to-day manager, Robert Morgenroth, testified for several days. During that time, a TMZ reporter overheard him telling his attorney that Silverman was being very pushy about why he didn't call the police. He said he responded by saying that it wasn't his responsibility and that was only in charge of keeping his tour going. The first sign that somebody's guilty is being defensive. We all know that. The grand jury could hear witness testimony around February, so a quick indictment is unlikely. And this is what I don't like. We may not see an indictment till February, March, which I think is disgusting and speaks to this system is just so heavily skewed. I just hate that our system is so based on money and power. If you have money, you get to get away with all type of shit, murder, shit get pushed back, they all kind of things, and it's just disgusting. I believe we should have a system that didn't have anything to do with money. I think we should have a system where we have appointed prosecutors, appointed defenders, defense people who just did their job, so that everybody was just on an equal playing field. So it didn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It should be a system that just carries out the law as it's written in our law books, in our Constitution. Because this is another situation. I mean, we talk about the Diddy situation on all the passes and leeway he was given. And it's just a shame. People are saying in the chat, at minimum, he's a pedophile. So at minimum, put him on a GPS and make him register. In the meantime, it's like for it to take this amount of time to get an indictment on a murder is just ridiculous. Some people are saying because the body was so decomposed that they don't have much evidence. I don't believe that shit. I believe they have enough. I believe they have more than enough. But this guy has money and this guy has connections, and we're seeing it firsthand right in front of our eyes what you can do with money and connections. Indeed, this guy wrote plenty of wild lyrics and told stories about unaliving women and sacrificing and blood and had gory videos that even depicted unaliving a woman and an ex-girlfriend. It's just so many flagrant, disrespectful, horrific things. It's just hard to imagine somebody being this demonic, and it's even harder to imagine that it takes all of this to get him indicted. It just makes no sense when everybody with common sense. Shit, just look at the private investigator. Before the private investigator, we was sitting around. Only evidence we had was what is that the Tesla that the tow truck place found, not the police. The tow people called and reported it. And then what was the other evidence? The other evidence was all found by the private investigator. The incinerator. Oh, and the internet people. The internet people found more evidence than the police. Then, out of nowhere, this private investigator, which was hired by the guy who owned the house that David was staying in, then out of nowhere, here we go. The private investigator, in about a less than a week's time, found more, not only just more evidence, but he found more crucial evidence to the case and more damning evidence that pointed to David, and something crazy went on. The private investigator found more in a week than we knew about uh, from the police department the whole time they had the case. It's just a sad, terrible situation. What went on with what's going on with this David thing, and no justice, and just don't make no sense. But TMZ is saying that singer David will likely face murder charges for the death of Celeste Rivas, and that's because the grand jury that's hearing the case will be asked to hand down an indictment. There was a report last month that the grand jury was an investigative grand jury, a grand jury that helps authorities gather evidence, but one that does not indict. An investigative grand jury can be useful to subpoena and enforce uncooperative witnesses to testify. Our sources say, however, the grand jury that has been hearing witnesses in Celeste Rivas' murder is actually one that will vote on the indictments. And multiple sources tell TMZ that authorities believe David was involved in the death. Nobody wanted to help. And there was also talk in the courtroom hallway. The grand jury could hear witnesses, but again, everybody's driving home the point that there will be no quick no indictment no time soon. Just sad. Yeah, it took Diddy years to be exposed. Like you said, with that money, Diddy was able to carry out all of that shit he was doing for 20 years. The situations and things that he was Diddy, that the things that Diddy was eventually indicted for, they spanned over a time of 20 years, and he committed crimes over 30 years. That's well documented, but the actual indictment was pretty much a 20-year period of just getting away with whatever. Again, another example. If you have the money, you have the power in this lovely country, the United States of America. It's sickening. Diddy and David, two huge examples of a person being able to carry out some of the worst criminal acts known to man and get away with it for a long time. And with David, what I fear about David is Celeste isn't the only one. That's what I fear about the David case. I think I think Celeste is just the one that somehow went sloppy and somebody must have backed out. And next thing you know, the car is found and revealed. I don't think she's the only one. I hope I'm wrong because I don't want to know. I don't want to have to face the reality that more people have went through what Celeste went through. But just from me covering stories and the flagrant demonic way that David has even approached his art and his music and the way he was performing as if everything was all good. I add all that up and it leads me to believe, man, Celeste might not be the only one. And as this grand jury digs up more evidence, talks to more people, and people start squealing, because what I'm hearing is they are pushing David to tell on people, to reveal everyone involved. And one thing we know is that it's not uncommon for a case like this to reveal so many more people than you thought were involved and could ever be involved. So all we can do as a community is continue to bring awareness and keep our foot on the neck because the deck is stacked against us with the way this society is set up. It's all about it. It's all about money. It's all about money. Anytime you got some shadiness going on, somebody getting away with murder, you can trace it back to money. Money equals power. Power equals very, very, very little accountability in this world we live in if you have the right amount of money and power. If imagine if we don't do our part. Imagine if the private investigator don't do his part. Imagine if the entire world wasn't putting so much pressure on the Diddy situation. Imagine if we don't do those things. Imagine how much they would get away with because they're getting away with a lot, even with the pressure, even with us holding them accountable and amplifying every victim's message. They are still getting away with it, getting away with a lot. Diddy's behind bars, and I'm sure David will follow only because of all this pressure. But who is David connected to? Who is David connected to? And that's allowing him to escape accountability like this. I've never seen a situation where it is so obvious that everything you can think of is pointing to him. Yet, with the old saying, they say a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich, meaning it's easy to get an indictment. All of a sudden, this indictment is taking forever, and it makes me think that if he has the deep connections and it's rooted in the actual system, all of this uh, stalling, pushing back, uh, uh, the indictment and taking their good old time. To me, it seems like it's like this is how they get their ducks in a row to try to rig the whole case. It's almost like somebody's behind the scenes, uh somebody's behind the scenes working their magic, probably burying evidence, probably getting rid of evidence, doing as much as they can while they fumble around and act like it takes months and months and months and months and months and months for an indictment on an open and shut case like this. Sunflower Best says David's parents' house is 10 minutes from my house. My teenagers have photos of meeting him a few years back at a friend's house. He was over 18 and had many minor girls around. Damn. Thank you for the information, Sunflower. Sunflower also has added, she said, thank God my child didn't know who or care who he was, but terrifying as a mom to imagine that encounter. Yeah, to even know that your children were in the presence of such a demonic spirit is scary. That's a hell of a story, Sunflower. Glad that your children made it out and didn't, get wrapped up in this web of bullshit and just it's a blessing. Celeste wasn't as lucky, and like I said, I just have some type of feeling that more. It's gonna be more, man. I don't know, man. I think somebody gonna come out and start talking, and I think. Good morning, Island Girl. I really think. Hope I'm wrong, but I really think there are more bodies, more women, more minors who have been violated, and let's not even talk about. We're talking about the very very worst and the unalive. We're talking about the unalive ones. What about the minors who were just violated? I'm sure they're out there. What about the minors who? What about the minors who didn't know? Who didn't actually get unalive, but just were taken advantage of, served drinks, whatever. This is great. This is just something that we don't know. Once we open up this Pandora's box, we don't know how much is going to be revealed. We don't know how much is going to be revealed. And it's just one of those situations where you just got to brace yourself. You got to brace yourself and just hope for the best and continue to fight for these victims, man, because it ain't an easy fight. It's not an easy fight at all. It's not an easy fight at all, and I just feel bad for the victims and the parent, even though and the parents. But and I hope this is not true, but it's so many fingers pointing at that family that may have took money and may have turned a blind eye for money because she was missing, but at home and missing again, and none of that was reported, and that makes the family look pretty guilty because there were plenty of times to hold them accountable and tell the authorities what was going on, and they didn't. Elise says he wasn't gone very long that night, which tells me he has done this before or there was someone else there to help him. 100%. 100%. somebody knows something. Please come forward. And I really hope, and I guess there's no way around it, but to think that this indictment, to think that this indictment could take a whole nother month or 2 months or 3 months to come through just doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't sit well with me at all. Definitely a sad episode. Um, that David case is one of the saddest cases I've heard. Just like I said, hope everybody can come out of this unscathed. I will definitely be looking more into this David case. Trying to find out if they somehow may be able to speed up an indictment, speed up the grand jury. We definitely got to see what's going on with this documentary with Diddy and keep up with 50 Cent, what he's got going on. I would definitely let y'all know that definitely is just sad. Definitely sad. Definitely sad, Fire Glory. Definitely sad. Definitely. I appreciate you asking about me. Definitely a sad episode. Um, but we will continue to find out, research y'all. Let's get the amounts in the chat. I will be back at y'all tomorrow for the members only. And hopefully we can get some better news, man, because today was just full of sad news. Grandma Kathy says, well, I will be praying for you all, and remember to smile. You are all beautiful. May peace be with you as we travel into the new year. Thank you, Fire Glory, for your concern. Thank you, Enoch, and everybody, Elise, Sunflower, everybody who joined us today. Let's get the mouse in the chat. Grandma Kathy's off at the pool. And I will see you all tomorrow as always. I love y'all, but I'm out.